Okay, so this is going to be part 2 of the lobster bracelet, and I have sped this one up so hopefully it's not as long. And I'm just going to start by taking this red string and going to be doing 2 backward knots onto these strings, and then I'll be taking this red string over on this side, doing 2 forward knots, and then 1 forward knot onto this one in the middle. So I will come back when those are done. Okay, so now that it's done, you can see kind of the base of it starting. You can see these are going to be the 2 claws. For the most part, the claws are done now. So we will now be moving on to the base of the lobster, which I'm going to start on the right side of it. I'm going to start doing this section right here, and then I'll hop over to the side and do that section. Yes. And for knotting, there is kind of 2 different types of knotting. There's going to be row by row and then segment knotting. For this specific pattern, I'll be mostly doing segment knotting. I find it makes it easier, especially for a pattern like this, where it's a design rather than like kind of the chevron style of patterns. But yeah, let me get my strings untied, unknotted, and then I'll be back. Okay, so on this side, I'll just take this blue string that we did that 1 knot onto. I'll do 1 backward knot onto this other blue string, and then 1 backward knot onto this red string right here. Perfect. And then I will take this blue string and do 2 backward knots onto both of these strings. Okay, and then with the third blue string, I'm going to take it and do a backward forward knot onto this red string right here. Just like that. And then I'm going to go back to the middle of the bracelet, take the red one that's in the middle, and onto the first blue string, I'm going to do a forward backward knot. And then I'm going to leave it at that with the red. But then I'm going to take the same blue one that I just did a knot onto, and I'm going to do 3 backward knots onto these 3 strings right here. Okay, and now that that section of this side is done, I'm going to take my strings, put this side over to the side, and then we're going to start on this side. And again, I'm going to take the blue one that's kind of in the middle at the moment and do 2 forward knots onto these 2 strings. Okay, and then I'm going to take the outermost blue string and I'm going to do 2 forward knots onto these 2 strings. And then you will just be taking the last blue string and doing a forward backward knot onto this red string right here. Just like that. And then moving back into the middle and taking the red string on this side that's in the middle, taking it out and doing a backward forward knot onto the first blue string. And then instead of just putting the red one back down, this other red string that's in the middle, you're now going to do a forward knot onto it. Like that, and then you will take this blue string you just did that forward backward knot onto, and you're going to take it and do 3 backward knots onto these 3 strings. Okay, so this is then what the bracelet should start looking like, but you're going to go back into the middle and take this red string, and we're going to do a forward backward knot onto the first blue string again. And then we will once again take this blue string that we just did that knot onto, and we're going to do 3 forward knots across the other 3 strings. Okay, and then we will go back into the middle for the other red string, and take it, do another backward forward knot onto the first blue string, just like that, and then take the red string that we just did the other knot with, and knot a forward knot onto it. And then we'll take the blue string that is on the left side and do 3 backward knots onto these 3 strings. Okay, and so for the most part, that is the body of the lobster. We are now going to get started on this part, the tail of the lobster, and then we'll be back at the beginning. And so for the tail of the lobster, we're going to take this red string in the middle, take it out, and we're going to do 2 forward knots on this first red string and the first blue string. Okay, and then on the other side, I'm going to take the other red string, and I'm going to take it and do 2 backward knots onto this red string, and then the first blue one on this side. Okay, so now that those ones are done on the side, we're going to take the 2 innermost red ones and do a forward knot with the 2 of them to combine at the middle of the lobster tail, basically. Just like that, and then the lobster itself is actually done. Now it's just making the background, if that makes sense, so that you can actually tell where the lobster is. So what we're going to be doing is this section right here, and then starting back up the top. Which, for this, I'm going to start by taking this blue string in the middle of the 2 reds. Take it. Okay, but I'm going to take this blue one and do a backwards knot onto this red string in the middle. Just like that. And on the other side, I'm going to take the blue string that's in the middle of these 2 red ones and do a forward knot onto the red string, and then also this blue string that we just did a backwards knot with. Okay, and then for this one, I'm going to start on the right side again. I'm going to take this blue string, not the outermost one, the second one. Take it and do a backwards knot onto this red string, and then take it again and do a backwards forward knot onto the second red string. Like that. And I'm going to take the outermost blue one now, and I'm going to do a backward forward knot onto the red string. Just like so. And then I'll actually be taking this other blue string again, and I'm going to do 2 forward knots onto this red one and the other blue one. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the middle of the bracelet and take this blue string from the middle, and take it and do a forward backward knot onto the first red string. Just like so. And then I'm just going to put this aside for the moment and move on over to this side and do basically the same thing as what we just did on the other side, just the opposite knots. That's mostly what this entire bracelet is. It's just doing one thing on this sthen doing the opposite thing on this side. Alright, but I'll take this blue string and do 1 forward knot, like so, and then do a forward backward knot onto the second red string. And then I'm going to take the outermost blue one and do a forward backward knot onto the red one. And then take that other blue string and do 2 backward knots onto the red and the blue. Like that. And then on this one as well. And then after that, I'm going to go back to the middle of the bracelet. And I'm going to take the other blue string that's in the middle, do a backward forward knot onto this first red one. And instead of setting this one immediately down, I'm going to grab that other blue string from the middle and do a forward knot onto it. And that is, for the most part, going to be how to make this bracelet. Because once you start here, you're starting right back at the top. Because this same top at the very middle is the same as this one right here. But yeah, for the most part, that is this bracelet. If you guys need any more help, just comment or DM me and hopefully I can help. But that is for at least the start of this bracelet. And yeah, if you need more help, just comment, or any more like tutorials on knots or how to end it or how to start the bracelet, and hopefully help with that. I hope this tutorial makes sense. It should just be the 2 parts for it. And the first part was definitely a little bit long. It is my first time ever making a tutorial, so I hope it makes sense. If not, just comment and hopefully I can answer your questions. But thank you.